Hello my Poke people, my name is Rage, and welcome to some more Sun and Moon official new information. So set your hype thrusters to maximum overhype once again. Let's do this thing. I'm of course going to do a full ridiculous analysis of every trailer that was released in but a couple days, but for now let's have a first impression-y discussion-y, you know the drilly. I'm just gonna move on. So, initially, we get the names for our legendaries, and they are confirmed to be the ones that were leaked. We have Solgaleo and Lunala, which I honestly don't mind. I like them both as legendary Pokemon names. So, initially, then, we have the thing that made most people go, huh? And that is Solgaleo, the Sun legendary lion. Does not have a fire typing, it's in fact Psychic Steel. Now initially this is confusing because of course the sun is a giant fiery ball of plasma, but it does make sense in a lot of ways, because one, it does have the full metal body ability, which implies that it is indeed made out of metal, which would give it the steel type. Now whether the steel type came before the ability or vice versa, we will never know, but I would like to imagine that they were designed with each other in mind. Talking of the ability, full metal body, it prevents Solgaleo's stats from being lowered by Intimidate, and one would assume other moves, so it's very similar to Clear Body, which is interesting because you think it would have some other unique properties. I still kind of think it will do, and we will find them out in due course. But more focus on the typing then. Steel does make sense, as I said, because of its ability, but it also makes sense because of the 1% metallicity found within our sun. So I can get behind this. Psychic is a little bit almost out of nowhere, but if we look at Solgaleo's head, it does have this kind of almost galaxy thing covering its eyes that seem to be a window into space, and that kind of does imply a little bit of mysticness. And while I think a Fire Steel would have been cool, I do think Psychic Steel is also a really neat typing, and I don't think it's that bad. I have a sneaking suspicion Solgaleo might actually be a constructed Pokemon from ancient times given life by some mystical ritual, but we'll get more of that later. So we get to see him use his ability and then also use his signature move, the Sun Steel Strike, which admittedly does look like it should be a physical fire move, but is probably going to be a physical steel move because legendaries tend to have stab signature moves. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, it does look very impressive, as does Solgaleo. I mean, it's a very nicely designed legendary. And then the actual battle screen itself, I'm a fan. I like the kind of color swipe in the nice chilled pastel turquoisiness, and I like the way they've done the health bars, not even thickness along it. I mean, it just looks very relaxed, like the region, like the tropicalness. I feel like it does fit with theme. So then we have Lunala, who is a psychic ghost, which again is interesting, because you think it would be more along the lines of dark, but then again, there isn't really a air quotes moon type now, is there? Like, I mean, rock is probably the closest thing to actual moon typing, so I'm not that sad that it's not got a dark typing. And I think Psychic Ghost is interesting because ghost Pokemon tend to have a neat story as to why they are ghost Pokemon, and it does give me hope for Lunala's story being quite interesting within the game. And of course Lunala also has the kind of eye covering universe portal thing that Solgaleo has, and I do believe that's where they both get their psychicness from. So I like it. I think they're a good pair of legendary Pokemon. I mean, there is a lot of irony in that Solgaleo is super affected by fire, but we're not gonna talk about that one. We're really not. So we get to see the Shadow Shield ability, which is take less damage from an attack if you're on full health. So again, something we've seen before in multi-scale, so I'm assuming there's going to be more to her ability. And then finally, Lunala's signature move, the Moongeist Beam, which I'm assuming is Ghost based on A, Lunala's typing, and B, the absolute destruction that poor Gengar receives. So then we get the really exciting part of this trailer, the actual region map. We get confirmation that there are 4 islands, and we get a lovely artist rendition of them all. Now, definitely the scale is off here, because at most I can see, like, what, 4 towns? And there's no way it's going to be this tiny of a trip between the regions and the towns. But there is a boat there, which does point to we're not surfing between them. Thank God! Oh, thank God. No surfing constantly everywhere. I'm so happy. So we get a boat between islands and explore them that way. No doubt we'll be able to fly between islands once we've got the HM, and we've already visited them, so that's quite good. And I like it. I'm going to go over in much more detail what I can see on this map and where I think things are and all sorts of neat little info like that. But in the general sense, I really like this region. It's obviously like nothing we've seen before, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to explore and experience. And talking of explore and experiencing it, we do get to see a little bit more in the form of our protagonist running up a hill and going along a little patch of grass. We get to see some wild grass in the background, and then we get to go through a sort of valley basin thing towards some cliffs, and then through a city. And each and every time the camera angles and locale does reinforce that I do think we're gonna get a really awesome journey that is unlike anything, because the way it shows you what's going on is so dynamic compared to other Pokemon games that tend to hold the strict aerial above your character camera across flat routes. So I'm very excited to explore Alola. I really am. We get to see the lovely artwork for the base trainers that we'll be playing as, and yes, the thing on the trainer's wrist is very exciting. It's easy to say it's a Mega Bracelet, but I really don't think it is, and it's something I want to discuss in a lot more length, but I think it's potentially very exciting. So again, customization further confirmed. Professor Kukui, who turns out this is actually the professor, not the old dude who throws the Pokemon, so that is interesting. And he does confirm that there is 4 islands, which is awesome, and that's the actual layout and size of them. So as we can see, the one that we start on is by far the smallest, and we get a much better idea for scale in this screen, which is really nice. And again, it just looks like it's going to be absolutely beautiful to explore. Then we get to see the professor's assistant, which presumably will be one of your rivals / friends / keep bumping into characters in the form of Lily, who looks very worried and scared to be here in all of her appearances so far. I mean, she does definitely have that mysteriousness, and I have a sneaking suspicion she's connected to whatever legendary happens to be in your game, but we'll see. She has the kind of ghost girl air about her, and I think there's a lot more going on there that we'll find out as we play. And then we also get to meet our friend / rival, who'll choose a starter after we do, who does in fact confirm that there is skinning chicken as a mechanic in Alola, so that's pretty good. No, I know it's an expression, okay, but I would much rather just pretend that he's totally just casually being given some literal chicken skin that someone's just gone out and hunted. That makes me a lot happier to think about, which actually is a weird sentence to say. It makes me really happy to imagine somebody just skinned a chicken. I am gonna move on rapidly. And then finally, a Rotom POKEDEX. Like, what? This was out of nowhere, and I think it's awesome. Don't get me wrong, it's a really neat idea, actually having your Pokedex apparently be sassy and talk to you. Like, that is freaking cool. And is it going to be a Pokemon? Is it going to be another electric ghost that you can use your Rotom-Dex in battle? That would be hilarious. I mean, I highly doubt it, but it would be hilarious. And I just think it's good. I mean, it mostly will serve the same function as a normal Pokedex from what we can see, but it just has a little bit more personality. Will it let us communicate with actual other Pokemon at certain points in the story? Will it translate for us? Because obviously Pokemon can understand Pokemon, and if Rotom can do that well in the Dex and then report back to you, maybe we can actually speak to Pokemon this time around. How neat would that be? So yeah, I love the idea of a talking, much more character-based Pokedex that's a bigger factor on your journey. Because thinking about it, how often do you even care about your Pokedex in Pokemon, which is supposed to be one of the main deals? Not a lot, so I'm happy they've made this change. And really, that's it for my initial cursory watch. There is a lot of meat to dig into here and properly analyze, so I hope to see you for that video. But as a general look over, I am very happy. This game is shaping up to be honestly the best Pokemon game so far. So let me know what you're thinking and your thoughts on everything, any theories you have. If you're liking it, if you're not, let me know, and we'll have a lovely discussion in the comments. Like if you've enjoyed this, it really helps me, the channel, and the video do well, and I really, really want it to. And subscribe for more. Good boy.